What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It has been roughly 7 months since I did the Dasaita G12 Plus unboxing, install, and review for you guys. For those of you that don't know, the Dasaita G12 Plus is a head unit alternative for the OEM head unit that is in the 4Runner. Roughly 3 weeks ago, I made an update video to the G12 Plus video that I just told you guys about, and basically I covered my experience over the last 6/7 months of use. I identified the good, the bad, and the potential improvement areas for Dasaita. Now, today I have something new for you guys. I actually teamed up with Dasaita to bring you guys this video. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is giving you guys a lowdown on the G13 and the new features that it brings. And then I'm going to be uninstalling the G12 from my car and throwing in this G13 from Dasaita. What's the difference between the G12 and the G13 in regards to what's in the box? So the G13 has a new feature that the G12 does not have. It is the DTS chip. What does DTS stand for? DTS is Digital Theater Systems. And what that is a series of multi-channel audio technologies that is used to enhance the sound experience in movies and video games. Now, this was primarily developed in the early 90s. I believe it was 1995 when DTS was first released. But it was originally developed to improve sound quality in movie theaters. As time has gone on, as technology has developed and we've progressed, they've actually started rolling DTS out in commercial use. And now we're starting to see it in consumer applications. So think like your cars, your sound bars, et cetera, et cetera. DTS is now making an appearance in those technologies. So what that means for you guys is those of you guys that install the G13 in your vehicle and have this DTS sound chip, the audio is going to be crisper. It's going to be more detailed. You're going to be able to hear sounds and just things in general that maybe you didn't hear with other conventional head units because they don't have the DTS chip. In addition to the DTS chip, the Dasaita G13 and Plus also have an inclinometer. So for those of you that take your 4Runner off-roading and like having an inclinometer, what that means for you guys is you'll be able to see your roll and pitch of your vehicle real time on your head unit. Another cool feature is like if you're getting dangerous as far as your roller pitch degrees, the head unit will actually notify you that, hey, this is getting a little squirrely, you might want to correct, because if you don't, you could roll your vehicle or get in a predicament that might not be so fun. Phenomenal system so far for the G12 that I've had. I think the G13 is going to be the same, if not better, with those features. So I'm really excited because I use CarPlay all the time in my vehicle for music and phone calls, and with the DTS chip, it's just going to elevate that experience just a little bit more, giving that higher fidelity audio and details that you hear in the music. So, all right, now I'm going to show you guys how to take the G12 out of the vehicle. I know a lot of you guys don't have a G12 and are going to a G13, but for those of you that might have a conventional head unit that want to go to the G13, this video is going to be fairly similar as far as removal of the system, and then once the system is removed, the install, you'll be able to follow along from that. So let's get started. All right, guys, so what's in the box with the G13? So just like with the G12, you're going to get a little warranty information. You're going to get the install steps. These are going to be broken down based on your vehicle's year. So here we have 2010 to 2013 non-JBL. We have 2010 to 2013 with JBL, 2014 to 2019, and then 2020 to 2023. So I'm going to be the 2014 to 2019. And the reason why it's important to identify which one you have is because there's numerous harnesses in the box. And if you don't pick the right one, you're not going to get your head unit to work properly. So just keep that in mind. Here you have the user manual, which you can put to the side. Dasaita actually includes a scented thing for your vehicle, so you can hang this up in your car. It's a little fragrance. And then, yeah, this is where that comes into play. So So it shows you the accessories cable and the power cables. I identified that I'm the CB004X based on this manual because I have a vehicle that is between 2014 and 2019. Let's see. Here you have the brackets and then other accessory cables and power cables. So we'll put that to the side. We have some pry bars and then zip ties. And then this is the hazard button, I believe, for the 2020 to 2023 models. I didn't have to change mine on my G12. The one that was on the head unit was the correct one for my vehicle. But it'll say in the instructions what you need that for. And then here we have the G13. As far as aesthetics goes, it is identical to the G12. Again, the real thing that changes is that DTS chip as well as the inclinometer for off-road use. But everything else is identical. It looks the exact same. So let's go and uninstall the G12 for my vehicle. I'll show you guys what needs to make its way from either your OEM head unit or the G12 to include like these pieces right here, and then the button, and then we can go ahead and throw this into the 4Runner. All right, guys, so this is the G12 that I'm going to be taking out of the vehicle. The first step for any vehicle is you're going to pull the temperature and the fan like gauges out. This will all come out, and then you'll be given access to the bolts that are holding the G12 in place. So you'll literally just pull up here and then down here. That will pop out like so. And for those of you guys that have a pedal commander like I do, don't forget to unplug that. Okay, there is a connector here that you're going to unplug, and then this whole thing you can just put in your back seat as you do not need it for quite some time. Now, if you come down here, there are 4 bolts right here. I believe it is a size 10, but my memory could serve me incorrect, so let me check. I am right, as usual. Just kidding. I just wanted my wife to smile in this video. All right, so you're going to take the 10 mil and you're going to loosen these 4 bolts. I'm just going to stick them in my cup holder. That way I don't go looking for them later. All right, so those 4 bolts are disconnected. Now the only thing holding the head unit in place are the yellow plastic clips that are behind the unit, and then obviously all the wiring. So you're gonna grab up here now, keep one hand on the bottom and pull, and then same on the right side, pull. It's going to come loose. Now there is a hodgepodge of stuff that is connected in the back. These are the factory connections back here. So I'm going to disconnect all of them. That way I am making sure I'm not mixing up G12 with G13 hardware. But same goes for your stock units. You're gonna disconnect your stock head units from the factory wiring. And then once you do, everything is going to be free. With the exception of the USB, I'm not going to take that one out of my vehicle, and I'll show you guys why in a second. Now, I have 2 wires that you will not have with your OEM unit, and I will talk about that in a second. This one right here goes to a USB port, Now, you will have that with either the G12 or the G13. The reason why I'm not taking this out is because I ran it a special way. The USB port serves for updating your G12 or G13 head unit, and it also allows you to plug in like external hard drives and other things. Now, I don't like having stuff on my dash. I don't like having GPS antennas. I don't like having USB cables. So what I did was I figured out a way to run it through the dash and then have it pop out of the glove box. That way, when I'm doing updates, I can plug my USB in here, do the updates, and then guess what? It's out of sight. Same with the hard drive. If I want to plug a hard drive in for a movie for my kid, I can put the hard drive in the glove box. It's out of sight, out of mind, and it's not going to fall and disconnect. It's kind of tucked away. The other wire that I have is a microphone, but it's not the stock microphone. When you buy these head units, they actually do not tie into the microphone that is up here, the OEM one. Those become obsolete because they just do not function with the aftermarket head units. So I actually purchased a microphone from a company called Enfig, E-N-F-I-G. I'll put the link in the description, but you can buy a microphone. I actually made an install video for the Enfig microphone, but you essentially take this down, you remove the OEM microphone, and you install an Enfig microphone, and it has a jack like this. And then from Dasaita, you can buy a dongle. It's about 30 bucks. And what that does is it allows you to plug it directly into the head unit. Now, keep in mind, this head unit already has a microphone, but I like having the Enfig one as well. That way there's two microphones when I'm driving, and it's, I believe, gives you better fidelity. Some people will say that you don't need it. I've had it, and I love the sound quality that my vehicle has. So I'm going to keep this for the G13 and on. All right, before you start going through this install guide, which shows you the wiring, there's a few things you need to do before that. You're going to have to transfer your vents over to the either G12 or G13 from your stock unit. You're gonna have to take this black plastic piece and transfer it over, and then over here there's plastic trim pieces that go on both sides. You're gonna have to transfer that over, and then your hazard switch along with the cable. So let's get started with that. To start out, we'll take the top piece off. So that is just 2 screws. And just take your time with this. This plastic, I'm not saying it's fragile, but if you're rough with it, you could break it, and then you're kind of out of luck. And then I forgot to mention, we're also going to take these yellow clips off of the stock unit and then transfer it to the G13. Okay, so that should be loose now, and it pops right out. So you can see it's got these little slots right here. You're just going to slide it into place. There are channels, if you look closely, where this slides on. So you just gotta make sure you line it up and then don't force anything. That's the biggest thing. So that is the first thing you're gonna do. Okay, we're going to remove the brackets. We're not gonna do that now, but what we are going to do now is we're gonna detach the hazard button. So there is a clip right here that you wanna push in and then separate that. And then to remove this hazard button, if you look closely up here, as well as underneath, there are these little plastic pieces. You're gonna pinch them. Kind of hard to get your finger on the bottom piece, but you're gonna pinch it and push it forward. So that's the hazard button. To put it in the new one, you're just going to come through the front and then push it in place. Hear it pop in. That's that. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is remove the vents, and then after we remove the vents, we're going to take those trim pieces that are in the front where the knob is for the vent off. So to remove the vents, if you look over here, there's a plastic tab on the top, and then there's a plastic tab on the bottom. You're going to just put something behind it to create a wedge between the two, and then gently pushing, you should be able to free it. So this side is free. They have both popped out. Now you're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. So kind of hard to see, but there's one up here that you're going to wedge underneath, and then there's one right here. And that one, although I think it's free, I'm going to be gentle because I cannot remember. Yeah, there's another one right down here. Again, it's hard to see, but you're going to just be careful, not force anything, because if you force it, you are going to break these tabs. The vents on the G12 have been removed. Now what we're going to do is take a screwdriver and remove these two screws on each side. What that is holding in place is this plastic trim piece. If you forget this step, you're going to get to the end and you're going to realize it looks like crap because you're missing those trim pieces. So don't forget to do that. All right, so this is the G13. I've gotten those two trim pieces put on and the hazard button. You can see it's a G13. Now what you're going to do is take your air vents and you're going to just slide them into place and then gently push them. You hear that clicking. If you've done it nice and smoothly and have taken your time, they should all be popped in the correct spot. And just check by pushing on the four corners to make sure that nothing is needing to be plugged in still. So those are nice and firm in there. The next step is these yellow clips and the white ones. You're going to separate those and then put them on the new unit. This also goes for the OEM ones. Now, for those of you that don't know, these can be a literal pain in the ass to remove unless you know how to do it correctly. So I found out that the best way that works for me is if you slide your finger underneath the bottom, you kind of wedge it between this plastic piece and the yellow, and then take a screwdriver and do the same up top. You will release the teeth that are in the middle, and then it will slide right out. And then to put it on, you literally just line it up and it pops into place. So this can take a while, but if you use that trick, it does make it a lot easier. All right, when you get to the bracket step, use this sheet that they give you. It actually helps you break down what bracket you need, whether it's this style or this style, and then it further shows which one goes right, which one goes left, and you can identify it based on the bracket that is on your OEM head unit. All right, guys, this is my G12 and this is the G13. I just want to point one thing out because it is a difference and some of you guys are going to have to make this change. So this is the G13. This is the bracket that it came preloaded with. I have a 2014 4Runner. I had to use this bracket on the G12. Now, for those of you that might be thinking, hey, my G13 doesn't have that bracket. Well, you actually do. It's in this bag. So what I'm going to do, I've already removed the bracket that goes on here that allows you to screw it into the vehicle itself. I removed that from the G12. The reason being is I got to get these screws. But I'm going to remove the ones from the G13, put this bracket aside because I won't use it, and then I'm going to transfer this bracket onto my G13. It's the same one that's in the bag. All right, so I have transferred the left-hand bracket to the unit. And I'm doing the right-hand bracket as you face the head unit. This side could be a little trickier just because there is the wiring for the hazard switch. I'm just going to put that to the side because, again, like I told you guys before, I need to take the correct bracket for my 4Runner. And again, the instruction manual, although I do not have it nearby, it does show you what bracket you will need based on your vehicle year. So I'm just going to put that to the side. I am then going to come over here and install this bracket into my G13. So put it through the bottom hole on the bracket, line it up, screw it in. Don't tighten it all the way so you can get the second screw in there. And don't drop it. Now that that is in place, you're going to take your factory brackets and you're going to line them up with the bracket that we just screwed in. So this right here is one of the holes that's going to get screwed in to the bracket that is on the head unit. I always back them out first and then go forward. That way I don't cross thread anything. And then same with the bottom. This one is behind that cable, but you can just move the cable to accommodate your screw. Gonna go back and retighten all the screws. That way everything's nice and firm and there's no rattling. Same with the other side. All right, now, don't forget, you have to plug your hazard button back in, and that's that. So now, after you get the non-hardware, you know, more so the like trim pieces, vents, the brackets, and then these plastic pieces installed, now you can actually dig into your cable bags and accessories. Look at this drawing, or you know, whichever one suits your vehicle, and identify the harnesses you need. Once you identify the harnesses you need, you can start plugging them in to the backside. Now, one thing worth noting, I talked earlier about not having the USB visible on the dash. Same goes for the GPS antennas and the other antennas that Dasaita provides. So I actually put mine, they have sticky tape. I sticky taped them here, and as you can see, after 7 months of use, they have not moved. I've noticed that I still have great signal the way that I place them. I don't have any issues, but I just didn't want to run these and have them in my vehicle, you know, on the dash or anywhere else. So this right here is a viable location for these antennas. It does work, and there are no issues. Okay, looking at the CB004-X, that is the year that corresponds with my unit. As you can see over here, following that guide and then double checking my work with my G12, everything is mirrored as far as the G13 goes. And then again, I put the antennas on the top of the unit. One thing I want to caveat with that is if you copy this wiring layout for the antennas, do not cover these holes. Those are vent holes. I didn't cover it in the first one, except, you know, barely over here. But again, don't cover the holes if you don't have to. This one was kind of sloppy because I relocated it after I had installed the unit, so I didn't have much room to move around in. But now that I do, just leave them open, that way it can breathe. All right, I have connected everything that needs to be connected. There are a few things that are not going to be connected. Some of these are your antennas, like the shark fin on the back of your vehicle. You don't use that with this setup. But yeah, I connected everything. And what I actually went ahead and did was I started my vehicle. And the reason why is you want to put your car in reverse before you close everything up. Reason being is there's two connections for your camera. This is one of them, and then there is another one down here, and you need to identify which one you need for your backup camera. One of these will not work. So if you go ahead and do what I did, where before you button everything up, you just kind of hold it in your hand, throw it in reverse, and see if the camera comes on. If it doesn't, you have the wrong wire, and you can swap them now versus figuring it out after you've assembled everything and then have to take this apart again. So I know that the camera that I have hooked up, the wiring is all correct, and I can now go ahead and close this up. So what I recommend from here on out is you want to be careful with your wires because one, everything's plugged in, and two, you don't want to break anything or crease anything between like the metal or the plastic. You want it to be out of the way, but you don't want it to get damaged. So what I do is I'm just going to grab the whole bundle of wires and kind of guide them into this cavity over here. And then before I push this in, I'm going to come down here and make sure that like this wire over here is tucked back and it is not in the way of the brackets. Because the last thing you want is like, see this wire right here? The last thing you want is it getting stuck behind the bracket and getting pinched. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to turn the key off, that way I'm not hitting random settings on the head unit. And then I'm going to make sure that I tuck everything the right way. I'm not in the way of any of the brackets or any of the pinch points. All right, the unit is free of wires down here. The big thing is you don't want any behind these brackets, or else one, it will not sit flush, but two, you will damage those wires. So I've confirmed that there's no wires back there. Everything is neatly tucked behind this plastic piece right here. So now what I'm going to do is take my hands and just gently push this into place. So you have those clicks. There we go. Now everything is nice and seated. And what we can do is grab those 4 10 mil bolts that we set aside earlier and take our ratchet, make sure it's on tighten, and tighten the unit back into place. Just gonna get them started and then I will tighten them down at the end. All right, the 4 10 millimeter bolts have been fastened, so the head unit is in place with all the plastic pieces as well as the bolts. Now what remains is to plug in the last connection, that is to your climate control station. You're gonna plug that in. Then you're going to tuck that wire back. In my case, I'm going to tilt it forward first because I have an aftermarket thing down here. All right, now I'm just gonna push this back into place. And that is that. Put the pedal commander back in its holder. And everything is buttoned up. It's the morning after the install. I finally got the G13 customized to my liking to mirror my G12. So I'm going to quickly give you guys a rundown on what the G13 has that the G12 did not. So right now, this is in the daytime view. My headlights are off. When I turn my headlights on, it switches to night mode. I'm going to keep it like this just so I think it's a little easier for you guys to see. The inclinometer that is located in the gyro app. Right now, my car is in my garage, so as you can expect, the car has, it's on a flat surface and it's not tilted left or right. So that's why these values are 0. Once you start driving, those values will change based on the road surface that you are on. But this is the inclinometer in the gyro app. That is also a new feature on the G13. Now, I'm going to release another video here shortly, and what that video is going to entail is it's going to show you guys how to customize like the lights. So the backlighting, mine is blue right now when the headlights are on. You can actually change that to numerous colors. I'm going to show you guys how to reorganize your apps on your home screen, as well as just some other things that you can do to customize and tweak the G13 to your liking. So I will make that video in the next few weeks. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions or wants to see some certain customizations made to this head unit, drop a comment in the section below. And if I see it before I make the video, I'll be sure to include it in the new video that I drop. And lastly, if you purchase the G12 or G13 from Dasaita's website and you use the link that is in the video description below, you will save 8% on head units as well as like your dash cam from Dasaita, the DAS X9S. So use the link in the description below if you're purchasing from Dasaita's website. And then if you're purchasing from cartrimhome.com, whether it be a head unit or anything else on their website, if you use the code 5Gen4R at checkout, you will actually save 7% site-wide. So the G13 is included in this. If you use 5Gen 4R at checkout on cartrimhome.com's website, you will save 7% on this unit, as well as anything else on their website. So be sure to use those codes, whether it's on Dasaita or Cartrim Home's website, because you will save money. That was the install of the G13. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys. Take care.